Um, I just took a shower, so my hair is all nice and clean. And after a year of lockdown, I suppose y'all know how momentous shampoo your hair day is, right? So I just was, I had made a little fire outside, um, and so washed my hair because my hair smelled like smoke. But it got me thinking about how I've kind of made a ritual of making these little fires. And it's not just because I'm a pyro, I don't think. It made me think about the way that we often light candles um, and about the sacredness of fire and flame. Whoops. Yeah, this was going to be super cool when I lit it as I was talking about fire and flame, but I was a little bit too zealous, right? So often when I practice yoga or meditate, I'll light a candle. Candles, of course, are often lit in churches, and indeed, the kind of beginning ritual of the Easter season, the very first act of Easter, is to light a new flame, symbolizing the light that God brings into the world through Jesus Christ, the new, living, difficult to control. You want to talk about difficult to control? Mm-hmm. Power of fire, of a flame. I lit a candle today at just before 3:30 when I heard that the verdict was going to come down in the next half hour. And candles are lit to symbolize the light of the world. They are a symbol of things that are impossible to control, a symbol of new life and of hope, a symbol of power and pain. And so fire and light are so powerful in our lives, which had me thinking too about, I find that I often burn myself more. Burning myself is not an uncommon part of my life, being both a priest who deals with fire every day and a person who loves to cook and has a gas stove, which I love. And actually, most of my burns come from the oven. Let's be real. How I often get burned when I'm not paying attention or when I'm moving too fast, right? When I'm not recognizing the power and giving the appropriate respect to that power. So what I wanted to do for this practice is to move as slowly as possible, which is not something that's easy for me, but it's a good thing to practice, right? Often when we get injured in yoga or in sports or in our lives, just walking down the street, it's because we twist our ankle because we're not paying attention to our walking, or because we trip because we weren't paying attention to where we were going, or because we twist something because we weren't paying attention, or we were moving too fast, or we weren't being careful. And, the same thing, of course, is true in any kind of sport and in yoga. And so I find everything, as will not surprise you, in our physical lives to be a way to get a perspective on and understand and allow into our lives and our spirits and our souls more deeply the truth of the universe. We have so much that we can learn. So if we move slowly, I think we're less prone to mistakes, we're less prone to injury, we're less prone to hurt. We're more ready for change. We're more steady for the next step, for the next pose, for the next moment, for the next breath. And, I suspect I'm perhaps not the only one who finds going slow to be difficult, who finds patience to be abhorrent sometimes. And so tonight, or whenever you're watching this, I offer this practice of slowness to you. Another thing that's great about slowness is that it takes a lot of control. So it takes a lot of muscle, and it takes a lot of communication between your brain and your body, and it takes a lot of control. So that's a great thing for us to practice too, right? So find yourself, bring yourself to your mat or your practice area, and we'll start with a few breaths like we always do. Also, as I'm moving away from the computer, I'm thinking to say to you that I'm working on finding a good microphone for this thing. I'm no professional, y'all can tell, but it would be good for y'all to be able to hear me, right? So I'm working on that. If you have a suggestion, let me know. We're all in this brave new world, right? So find a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. It might be crisscross applesauce. It might be sitting on top of a blanket or a bolster or a pillow. It might be with your sitting on top of your knees, whatever that looks like. Oh, and let yourself sit back in your seat. I often find, you're not going to be able to tell because I'm wearing black. I really should be wearing white or something. That I sit like this. Do you see how far forward my back is compared to my seat? And so my work a lot of the time is to sit back a little bit. I think it's not a coincidence that I struggle a lot with anxiety, which is about the future. Anxiety is a future thing. And so I often sit like I'm trying to get into the future rather than resting in the present. So that's something to think about when you're finding your seat and finding stability where you're sitting. Is your center, right? It's why I'm super sold on Anglicanism. Being an Episcopal priest as I am, Anglicanism is like all about everything meeting in the middle. Everything. The middle way. In infuriating, beautiful, Holy Spirit ways. Speaking of the Holy Spirit, let's take a deep breath. And another. And the third one. Beautiful. We'll warm up with some moving over to the side, over to your right side, stretching your left arm out, up and maybe over. Inhale and exhale. Bring yourself back to center. And then over to the other side, your left side, your right arm. Inhale and exhale. Instead of staying on one side or the other for super long tonight, let's go back over to the right side with your left arm. Inhale up to center. Exhale. Right arm over to the left side. Inhale up to center. And we'll move back and forth. We'll exhale here. Inhale up to center. Exhale up to the other side. This keeps that stretch going, just like we've been practicing for a while, but Oh my goodness. Sorry. Kind of gets more heat going because we're moving more, right? Rather than holding on one side and holding on the other side. Let's go through one more cycle. Inhale up, exhale to the side. Inhale up. Exhale. Good work. Now, we're going to come to tabletop. Hands nice and firm below your shoulders, knees below your hips. And one thing that can help if your wrists are feeling a little bit tender is to add a little bit more cushion to them, maybe rolling up your mat. But another way that's more systemic that you can help your hands is to spread your fingers out really nice and wide and to press into your fingers. So you're spreading your fingers out super wide, right? Very muscly, like putting a lot of effort into that. And then also pushing down from your fingertips. So of course you're not actually holding all of your weight up on your fingertips, but you're dispersing more of the pressure, more of the effort into your hand rather than just having the effort on your wrist, right? If your effort is just on your wrist when you're down, that hurts, man. But bring some of the effort into your fingers. And that will help spreading out the effort and weight and will help to protect your wrists. So what we're going to do is some right and left brain work. Bring both your right and left brain into conversation with one another, which is healing to your brain, helps you to process. It's the same kind of work that's happening when you're sleeping. My bed is over there. And doing that rapid eye movement, working both sides of your brain at the same time. So let's inhale and drop your belly down, shine your face up toward the sky into cow, and exhale, draw your belly in, chin toward your chest into cat. Inhale. We're going to keep moving and exhale. Inhale. Nice deep breath and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Bring yourself back to a flat back. Draw your navel in toward your spine so you have a nice, flat, strong back. You're going to bring your right arm up and out toward the front. You can bring it all the way straight out to the front or up any amount. You can just leave it right here. If you'd like to, you can shine your left leg back. Exhale, bring your elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. We'll do two more. Exhale. Extend, exhale. Inhale, extend. And then on that exhale, bring both hand and knee back to the mat. Inhale and exhale here, noticing the way that your body feels. Let's move carefully into this other side. Inhaling your left arm toward the front and your right leg to the back. Any amount, doesn't have to be super high. Exhale, elbow to knee, nice and slow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Two more, exhale. And extend. Exhale. And extend. Bring them back down to the mat. Inhale, drop your belly, face up toward the sky. Exhale, reverse the curve of your spine, tuck your chin toward your chest. Bring yourself back to center. This time what we're going to do is move through a similar motion, but even more slowly. I'm going to move a little bit this direction, just so I'm not falling into the wall and my bed. But I'm going to show you a variation. So you could do it the same way as you just did, or you can do it a little bit differently, like this. Inhale, bring both your right hand and your left foot all the way out to the points of your fingers and the points of your toes, but not lifted up off the ground. And then exhale, gently drag them back. Inhale, this time bring your left fingers and right toes out, just so that they're still along the floor. And exhale, bring them back to their original position. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, bring them back. Inhale, the opposite arm, opposite leg. Let's move through a few of these at our own pace. Inhale and exhale. We're having to transfer our weight every time that we switch. We're lighting up all kinds of muscles, and with the slow control of moving along the mat and the floor with our arms and our legs, our fingers and our toes, we're really having to move slowly and pay attention. Move through one more cycle, wherever you are, ending with that left arm and right leg, coming back to center. One thing that I haven't done here before, but that I always think of in the morning, for some reason my toes get really stiff in the morning. Tuck your toes under. You ready for this? Start to lean your weight back onto your toes, any amount. This really opens up the center part. What's that called? I don't know. That center part of your foot. It might be too much pressure for you to just sit all the way back on your toes. It's totally great to just have your weight on your fingers too. Maybe even that is too much weight, and you just figure out what's the right amount of pressure to put on your toes and feet. To breathe into the stretch through the arch of your foot. Inhale and exhale. I'll bet that people have been wearing shoes a lot less this past year, and that's probably been really good for people's feet. People have definitely been wearing a lot less heels, high heels. Those are rough for our feet, at least. Maybe not so rough on our eyes. And then as you're finished with that, take all of the weight off your toes and just tap them on the floor a little bit. Oh, I'm being called. Isn't that great? I'm going to just decline that real fast. So let's come back to a seat. And one thing that we've been practicing an awful lot this week that I'm just really addicted to right now is a little bit of acupressure. So one spot that we've been working on a lot is this spot on our foot that if you crunch it up, it almost kind of shows you where it is right here, right below the pad of your foot. If you're looking down, it comes kind of down between the second and third toe, right there. You can use that spot with your thumbs. It gives relaxation. Just gently moving into that spot. You don't have to press super hard. It's not about bringing pain or, digging in. This is a little bit of a yin pose insofar as with our legs here, we are invited to let go of the muscles that are often holding us up and to just let our body and joints and bones and muscles relax. It gives us a chance for our tissues to soften. Speaking of a good chance for our tissues to soften, we're going to do one more pose before we finish our time together. Line that up so you all can see. It's one of my favorite poses to do with my hips. You can do this every day. You can do all of this every day, of course, but this is so good to do every day. You bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and they can be, your knees can be at a 90-degree angle or a little bit less. That's fine. It's all about your hips. What is comfortable for your hips. So bring your arms out in a T if that's comfortable for you, and then let your knees both fall both to the right side, and then up to center and to the left side. You can do this as slowly as you would like, and since our kind of theme and thought today is about being slow, that's perhaps a good idea to move slowly. Inhale, center maybe, and exhale, right. Inhale, center, and exhale, left. Inhale, center, and exhale, right. Inhale, center, and exhale, left. And this has the, let's inhale back to center, the great effect of also massaging your sacrum a little bit, that lower back, which can get so cranky, especially when we're sitting all day, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. May you find a little bit of peace and renewal in the power of the light of God. One of the meditations that I learned is to stare at a candle flame. The assignment was to stare at a candle flame for 30 minutes. I'm not sure that that's great for your eyes. I don't know that I really stared at it for 30 minutes. But especially in a container like this, where you can kind of like stare at it, but you don't really see it, that can help. But it has movement to it, which helps rather than being something that's totally static. But it's also so steady. Just as the fire of the Holy Spirit in our bodies and souls and minds continues to burn, changes shape, but just don't quit. May the peace of Christ be with you.